Hey guys, Dwayne here. Today I want to talk a little bit about extended visitation. Being that the holiday season is starting to roll into effect and kids are going to be out of school, typically the way court visitation typically works, you're going to probably have some part of the holiday, so you're going to have an extended visitation with your kids. So I want to talk a little bit about that because there's some key things that happen during this that I think are significant indicators on progress and how things are going, and can give us hope going forward. I made a video a few days ago about, is narcissistic personality disorder genetic? And I think personally, what I'm getting ready to talk about is an indicator why it isn't genetic, and why, if they do have quote unquote markers for it, or you even see some of the behavior, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're destined to be narcissists. Okay, bottom line is, in my opinion, the first thing is environment. I think that whenever they're in the environment with a narcissist, they're seeing behavior and having the opportunity to model behavior that's not really appropriate. When they're with you, if you've made appropriate changes and made proactive steps to improve your environment, then you are modeling good behavior and giving positive reinforcement when they're doing the correct things, and identifying it when they're doing incorrect things. So one thing I've noticed, and I've talked about this before, is typically when I have the kids even for the 5-day period, I have typically it's 2, 5. I'm trying to remember how it is, but it's like I get my kids every Wednesday and Thursday. Their mom gets them every Monday and Tuesday, and then we swap every other weekend. So it's 2, it's 2 and then 5, 2 and then 5. Even whenever I have the kids for the 5-day stretch, by the midpoint of that, I can already see a different in attitude and the way they're acting and interacting. So bottom line, everyone basically starts calming down. Now that doesn't mean that you're still not going to have those issues with some of that behavior, because you will. I mean, you have years and years and years of them patterning this behavior and seeing how things are done. So you're not going to break that overnight. But what you will notice, especially if you're creating a calm environment and when they are doing things that are inappropriate, you're calling them on it and you're talking to them about it, you'll notice as time goes on that things will get better. Now, the hard part about that is, in the beginning, you're so frustrated and stressed, and you're so in the middle of it, and you feel like your ex is turning your kids against you. It's really hard not to get angry, and it's really hard not to have an immediate response to them, which in this situation isn't really great, because it actually slows things down. Your best bet is to be able to take a step back, calm down, keep that environment calm for them, and it'll get better. Okay, so and that's mainly that's the thing I want to tell you, is as you've done this, and as you've laid that foundation and you keep progressing towards that, you will notice things get better faster whenever your kids are with you. And the more stable that your environment is, the more stable they will be, right? So the more stable you are, the more stable your kids are going to be. They're going to be looking to you to kind of gauge on how they're supposed to react and how they're supposed to feel. And if you can calm down, then you can calm them down. Sometimes if you're really stressed, your kids will leave you alone, and they may calm things down because they don't want to make you mad. But equally, if things just calm down and they're calmer, then that tension isn't there, and the likelihood that they're going to get mad or have an outburst is significantly reduced. So one thing I've noticed, they have, and this is typical, right? So they have, I think any family, there's a potential where people are going to fight and get frustrated, and you're looking at me and you're touching me and all that stuff. And that still is the case. But if you can push through that and not get triggered by it and not get emotionally angry by it, you really have an opportunity to create some good memories with your kids. This last weekend, I had we taken a road trip about an hour and a half, 2 hours away to go to a lake and a river, just basically to drive up there, have lunch, spend some time together, take some pictures, run around, play around, and there were some frustrations while we were going through it, but then on the way back, you're talking to everyone, and everyone's like, man, it was a great trip. They had a lot of fun, and it was nice. It was nice to get out and do something a little different instead of just staying in the house and watching movies or that type of stuff. So, bottom line is, when going through all this, is just keeping things in perspective, right? And it makes it a little bit easier whenever you have an extended period with your kids, and that you can actually see the difference, and you can, within the first few days when they get acclimated to your environment, your routine, and the tensions go down, and the stress goes down, and the narcissistic behavioral traits that they may show start going down, you can actually see that what you're doing is a positive thing, and you're helping. The thing to keep in perspective, one, recognize that. I mean, that's super important. And the second part about that is don't allow yourself to get frustrated and mad because you're not allowed to do that all the time, right? I mean, and it's tough because you can, and I've gone through this myself, where you have one of these times, they go back to, well, Mike's in this situation, they go back to their moms, and then whenever you see them after the transition happens and boom, it goes back to the normal routine, it's almost, you can definitely see the difference in the downslide. And that can actually make you really angry and triggering, because it's reminding you that this situation is messed up, that your ex is causing significant problems, and they're basically hurting your kids. And bottom line is, guys, there's really not a whole hell of a lot you can do about it. So don't allow that to negatively impact your emotions and your state, because it doesn't accomplish anything. The more that you get frustrated, like I was talking about before, about, if you're stable, your kids are stable, the more that you allow that to impact you, the more that you slide back, and the more that it negatively impacts your kids. You're actually much better off if you can just kind of like push that out of your mind, which I know it's tough, and not allow those thoughts. And it's a reality, okay? It's not something that's made up. It is a reality. Your ex undermines everything that you're trying to do. In one of the earlier videos I've talked about, we're basically minimizing the damage that narcissist does to our kids. However, the faster that we can acclimate to that, the faster that we realize that and we allow it to not impact us, the better, the better our environment is, the better the environment for the kids is, and the less of the Groundhog Day effect I've talked about actually happens. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully you guys get to have some, rolling into this, hopefully some of you guys get to have your kids for the holidays coming up. Like I said before, I get my kids for Thanksgiving, so I'm really looking forward to that. Wish I didn't have to work, but I get one day off, yay. Just enjoy the time you get and make the most of it, and don't allow the negativity from your ex to corrupt what you're trying to do. Okay, on that, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care. See ya. Bye.